June 17th, AT-ONE-MENT. Leviticus chapter 17 verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that makes atonement for the soul. A Japanese soldier named Shoichi Yokoi lived in a cave on the island of Guam. He fled there in 1944 when the tides of war began to change. Fearing for his life, he stayed hidden for 28 years, coming out only at night. During this time, he lived on frogs, rats, snails, shrimp, nuts, and mangoes. Even when he figured out the war was over, he was afraid to come out for fear he would be executed. 2 hunters found him one day and escorted him to freedom. He had lived all this time under condemnation for wrongs that had been dealt with. Forgiveness had been granted, but he failed to apply the benefits of this armistice to his life. As God began to build the nation that would become his chosen people, he charted the way they could approach him without condemnation. It was through blood. The blood, which represented the life of the one sacrificed, would be the atonement for your souls. Through a blood offering, the one making the sacrifice could be at one with God. The Hebrew word translated as atonement means to cover. The Old Testament animal sacrifices were intended to cover a man's sin. In the New Testament, the concept of atonement is expressed by the word expiate, which means to put away. That's a significant step forward in the meaning of salvation. The blood that Jesus shed for us at Calvary does not merely cover up our sin, it puts away our sin as though it had never been committed. If you find yourself living in a spiritual exile, isn't it time you received God's atonement? The sacrifice of his own Son for you. Jesus paid the penalty for your sin with his own blood. Let him make you eternally at one with God. Christ's atonement is the key to God's at-one-ment. Amen.